Hello. Hi there again. Welcome back to 55 and Bolder. I'm Linda Rivero. So, during this week, we've decided to start at the beginning of the process of recovering and rebuilding after a loss. And the beginning, of course, is the loss. So, we've been talking about grief. And we've described the 5 stages of grief. So, just as a quick review, those 5 stages were: first was denial, where we do our best to deny that this loss is even happening. Then we have anger, which is a very common reaction, and it has both its benefits and its drawbacks. Then we talked about bargaining, where we kind of reduce our pain by thinking, by letting our imagination run wild and think, well, I'll do anything. I'll be the best wife in the world if you only make him live. Bargaining. Followed by depression, once we realize the bargaining is futile, of course, although it does help us adjust to the loss while we're in that state. Depression, and finally, at the end of the whole process, comes acceptance, which doesn't mean we're not sad, but it does mean that we realize that this is what's happening and we come to terms with it. And as we pointed out, these are not stages that are strictly defined or that necessarily even happen in that order. But generally speaking, that's the construct of the process of grief. So now we know where we are, what to expect, and those of us who've been through it, and I think that is most of us, is most of the world, and has been through grief in one way or another. Then the question is, what do we do? How can we make our lives better? How can we make the process more livable? A few things, general concepts that we can remember. First of all, of course, it's important to remind ourselves that this isn't forever. This too shall pass. It will come to an end. Although at the time that may not feel like the truth, but it is the truth ultimately. Grief, it's the natural consequence of loving. You love a lot, and when you have a loss, whether it is a death or a divorce or the loss of a pet or a parent, or a child, uh, grief is natural. It's the price that we pay for having loved. We must remember to be kind to ourselves, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, do things that are soothing to you, whether that's relaxing in a warm bath at the end of the day or in the middle of the day or first thing in the morning. If that's what you need, do it. Or visiting with a friend, whatever it is that's going to make you feel more soft and kind. Most of all, the most important thing is to seek support. Seeking support is it's critically important, because grieving can be so isolating, so devastating, and so isolating. When I lost my husband, I joined a bereavement group, which is a little bit unusual for me because I'm not usually open about things that are intensely personal, and certainly grieving a loved one is very personal. It's very intimate. But I needed to know that I was not alone, and I joined a group, and I was very, very glad that I did, because there, it's not like talking to even a close friend or a close relative. When you're in a bereavement group, you're with other people who they know exactly what you're talking about. They've been there, and it's a wonderful sense of community. Interestingly, the conversations were not always sad. Sometimes, yes, sometimes very funny. I mean, there was a lot of humor, but a lot of compassion, a lot of sharing. Most of all, there was just a sense of not being alone and being amongst others who can appreciate exactly where you are, no matter what stage you're in. It's a wonderful feeling and a wonderful thing to do. Something else that I did, which is an option, but I strongly recommend it if it resonates with you, is to meet privately with a bereavement counselor. Excuse me, my nose itches. To meet privately with a bereavement counselor. I did that. She was wonderful, and I met her weekly for a few months. There are many, many communities across the country where you can find grief support services at no cost. There are lots of them. So if you don't know where to go, and I certainly didn't, I just got online and did a search. And I think I also got suggestions through the hospice organization that that was involved with my family during my husband's passing. So do a search, and I'm sure you'll be able to find some sort of support that is gratis, that is at no charge. And at the very least, you'll be able to find online services at no charge. Now, here are some other things that you can do. You can try writing a letter to your loved one. This is not something that resonated with me. I didn't do that. But I knew others who did and felt the burden lighten by doing that, by feeling that they could connect to that person and express whatever they wanted to express, whether it was sorrow, whether it was a regret about something that the person had done or had said, whatever it was. Writing a letter to the person that you have lost, even if you've lost that person through divorce, it can be a healing activity. Here's another suggestion, and this is something I absolutely did. I strongly advocate binge watching TV and movies. If you're not able to do other things, and I sure wasn't, I barely communicated with anyone beyond my children. It was a lifesaver for me. I mean, for months, I watched dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of TV. For me, at the time, I got lost in Lost. Remember the show Lost, the series? It went on a long time. And that's what I did for weeks. I was just glued to that. But what felt so good about it is that I was able to get completely absorbed in someone else's story, in someone else's excitement and drama. And it was a break, it was a reprieve from my own sorrow. So I think that is a great thing to do. Now, in my case, I combined that with real major overindulgence with sugar. Not recommended, really. Try not to do that. It's a terrible idea. In addition to the weight gain, which I experienced, and it's awful because that's depressing in itself. And beyond that, sugar is terrible if you're trying to stabilize your mood. You have these spikes and crashes and cravings. It's out of control. So don't do the sugar piece. But I sure suggest binge watching something that you can lose yourself in. It takes you away. It's a bit of a reprieve, a little vacation from what you're going through. Something else that you might try is going through the photos, the letters, the emails, the love notes, the cards, anything else that you shared. I had a lot of cards. My husband used to leave me and send me these darling cards. It didn't work for me to go through them because for me it was too overwhelming. But again, I know others who saved all that and at times would just go through them. And even though they may have cried during that, looking at those things, they found it ultimately kind of healing, cleansing to do that. So that's something else that you can try. I strongly suggest, again, any of these, only apply if it resonates with you, but finding a therapist, seeking out a therapist whom you trust. I did that as well. I didn't do that until after about a year, but I did get recommendations from people I knew, people around me, and I did begin to see a therapist who was wonderful, and was this was a tremendously positive experience for me. She was not a bereavement counselor, she was a psychotherapist. And that's something that you may find helps as well. Another idea is to write, to journal. Write out your emotions, spill it out, get it all onto paper. Don't edit, don't reread it, just ta, 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 ta. Just write, just write, just write. It can be cathartic. Many do that. Again, this is something that I did not do, but I know others who did, and found it very opening, uplifting to do that. You know something else? Here's another idea. Wear his clothing or jewelry. You know, I did that, and I still do. I still do from time to time. And it makes me feel great. At the time, it made me feel comforted. Now, when I do this, occasionally, it just makes me feel warm. I feel close to him. I wear my husband's shirts, which are huge on me, so I don't go out with them because it would look ridiculous. But when I'm home, I'll wear them, or his sweaters, sometimes his watch, and even my wedding ring now and then when I'm home. Um, it does not feel morbid. It feels soft. It feels soothing. It feels loving. So that's something you might do. You might just wrap yourself in his bathrobe or his sweater, and you may find that you feel good, comforted. And another idea, talk to him. Talk to him. I still do this. There are moments when it feels so real. There are moments, it's not frequent, but they happen, when I could swear my husband is in the room with me. I could swear it. I feel it. And I talk to him, and it feels great. I feel connected. It doesn't feel weird. And I mean, I don't do this in public, and I don't do this when I'm with other people. I don't have the desire or the urge. It doesn't occur to me when I'm with other people, certainly when I'm not in public. But it's something that I do in my own private moments, and it's it feels great. Here's another suggestion for you. If you're feeling creative, not if you are creative, if you feel creative, this isn't a matter of judgment, who's creative or whose creativity is valid and whose isn't, but if you're feeling that way, honor him by writing a poem about him, a poem to him, or writing a song. This can feel so good to get your feelings out in that form. It may work beautifully for you. Get your feelings onto your computer, or onto a page in the form of a poem, or even a short story. Get your feelings out onto your keyboard or your guitar if you play. Get your feelings to come through your voice if you sing. It all feels wonderful. Another way of coping with getting through your loss is to care for others. Volunteer. Volunteer some of your time for other people. It can really help. It can really help because it shifts your focus from your own pain to another person's pain. And even if you don't want to commit to a volunteer schedule, for example, do something that you love. For example, say you love to bake. You love to bake cookies, and you've got the best brownie recipe on the planet. Cook up some brownies and take them to your nearby shelter or women's shelter or whatever service in your area that you want to help. Just share what you have. If you knit, if you like to knit, if you like to crochet, for me it's more crochet. Crochet a pair of booties and take it to the women's shelter. Just some ideas. But serving others, thinking about others, helps, again, to lighten the load and to open up, to let the air in, the air of life and other people. Then, of course, it's always a great idea to get outside and soothe yourself in the sun and the wind and the rain. There's such wonderful, beautiful comfort in nature. Go for a walk, go for a stroll, go for a hike. It's not my thing, but thousands and thousands of people love hiking. Whatever makes you come alive outdoors, or just sit outside, feed the birds, watch the ducks in a nearby pond, or sit outside in a beautiful spot under a beautiful tree, in front of water, whatever you have near you, in front of, with a view of the mountains, wherever you are, with your journal, and write. Just be outside. Get that light and that air flowing through your eyes, your mind, your psyche, and your heart. Now, my last suggestion is something that I learned about very recently, and it's very interesting, and it may well resonate with you. I did not know about this at the time that I was in this need, but you don't have to be in an active state of grieving to take advantage of this. And this is something called a death cafe. A death cafe. It sounds a little macabre, but it really isn't. This is a group of strangers who get together in a cozy, welcoming environment, like a cafe kind of vibe. And people come together to talk about death. You know, if we think about it, death really, it's still taboo in our Western society. And in other places, it absolutely isn't. It's part of the cycle of living. Certainly, I have, Mexico was a large chapter of my own life in the past, and in Mexico, the attitude toward death is present every day, as just part of the life cycle. We don't think that way in our culture. So people get together in these death cafes and they talk about death, and the object is not morbidity. No, the object is to just talk about it, the experience, and come to terms with it for the purpose of living more deeply, living more richly, living full out. That's the purpose of a death cafe. Deathcafe.com, believe it or not. Deathcafe.com, and you can put in your zip code and see what's going on, if there's anything near you, or again, for online gatherings. I think I looked it up and I found local gatherings, but I imagine there must be online gatherings at all at this point, post-pandemic, or almost post-pandemic. So there are 13 ideas for you to help you get through the process of loss so that you can come out the other end whole and accepting and coming to terms and ready to move on to create your own next chapter. As you go through these, I encourage you to take advantage of what I have to offer you. I have two things to offer you, both of which are entirely free. But I would love to send you the seven soothing secrets for happiness for the mature woman in transition. Just private message me with the word secrets, just secrets, and I will see that you get a copy of this uplifting reading. And then if you would like me to help you begin to plot out where you go from here, I'm available, and I encourage you to send me a private message with the words free call, just free call. I will reach out to you and we'll set up a mutually convenient time to chat about where you are and where you'd like to go and how I can help you move forward, because this is what I do and I'm here for you. As a final note, remember, grieving has its own schedule. It takes its own time. There is no rush. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Most of all, don't fight it. Take all these suggestions that we've discussed and help yourself move forward with ease and grace to the very best of your ability. This too shall pass. Thank you. I'll see you again soon. Ciao, ciao.